timeless voices of the eternal church.
Jan Block. Again and again, one finds a strange eagerness in the words of the martyrs, looking forward to when I shall offer up my sacrifice, or when I make my witness. These sentiments expressed by Jan Block were no death wish. He had been a wealthy playboy who spent most of his time with prostitutes or in the taverns of Nijmegen. He had every opportunity to continue that life, but one of his companions, Simon van Maren, a furrier from Hertogenbosch, suddenly ceased carousing. "I have given my life to Christ," he told Block. "Here, read this New Testament and you will see why." Jan Block followed the advice and the Lord opened his heart. He, too, converted and joined a local house church. Not being the quiet type, he began telling everyone. Soon, officials seized all his property and put a price of 70 gold coins on his head. He fled to a country village and asked a mason for a job as his hod tender, since he had never learned a trade with which to support himself. The mason, fearing that the authorities would soon be on Block's trail, said no, fearing any aid to a heretic would get him in trouble too. Not knowing what else to do, Block returned to Nijmegen and stayed with some friends, but someone saw him on the street and turned him in for the reward. When the bailiff came to the house, the woman of the house warned Block to stand on the bed behind some curtains so he would not be seen. The bailiff, who was not very eager to make an arrest on religious grounds, looked into the room briefly and then closed the door. He then left the house and announced to the bounty hunter, "Jan Block's not there, so forget the money." "Oh yes he is. I saw him go in. He's in there." Finally, the bailiff sent one of his assistants back to check again, and he found Block behind the curtain and marched him off to prison, where Jan Block was condemned to be burned at the stake. Going to a wedding feast. As he was escorted to the scaffold to be put to death, Block's face looked as joyful as if he were on the way to a wedding feast, and once on the scaffold, he fairly leaped towards the stake in eagerness. "Say, my man," he said to the executioner, "you have put the holes in the wrong place on the stake. Next time, you must be more careful." His spirit was so indomitable that several of the lords who had sat in judgment over him were moved in tears at his execution. Voice of the Hero. Dear brothers and sisters in the Lord, oh, how great was the spiritual food in your letters, with which you fed and comforted my poor hungry soul from the holy word of the Lord. It incited me to take undaunted courage, for which I cannot thank you enough. By the help of our dear Lord, I still have the will to do well. I hope and trust in God our Heavenly Father, who shall strengthen me to finish my race to his holy praise when I shall offer up my sacrifice. As you write to me of many prophets and apostles, yes, of Christ himself, who for the sins of us all and out of the love for us all was led to the slaughter as a dumb lamb. How much more ought I, poor miserable sinner, to deliver up my life for his holy name's sake, of which I sincerely deem myself unworthy. My mind is firm and of good cheer in the Lord, and I am as courageous as a young lion. I cannot thank God enough for his great goodness. Jan Block. Let us be glad and rejoice and honor him, for the time has come for the wedding feast of the Lamb, and his bride has prepared herself. Revelations 19 verse 7.
Reading from the complete book of Christian heroes, over 200 stories of courageous people who suffered for Jesus, compiled by Dave and Neta Jackson. This is the Eternal Church of Jesus Christ, the record.